And we are live.
Yay! It is Friday, and I am Old New Dude. He is,
Mr. Bjork, Asher's Reborn Son.
and this is Tyrion 6. And long live House Stark.
Yep.
Last chapter wasn't nearly as bad as a week ago's chapter, so this one's definitely not anywhere close to a week ago. So I'm in a better mood. Whoever liked my comments to Valencar about how hard that chapter was, I appreciate it. And I appreciate y'all actually joining us on this journey for the ups and downs. And at times there are some really low downs, and other times some of the chapters are like a comedy skit. It's hard not to be grinning the whole chapter long. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So we got what? Chris, Mother, deck of cards, Sanji.
Mother Ron points out it wasn't last week; it was Monday. Fair enough. And deck of cards says Ola, and Sanji says hiya.
Oh yeah. Hello, everybody. So, all right. Without any further ado, take it away, Tyrion, or not Tyrion, Richard.
Okay, Tyrion, story 53, Tyrion 6.
There you go.
Explain to me why it is more noble to kill 10,000 men in battle than a dozen at dinner. And of course, we talked about that last time and how.
Yeah. Well, it's that if you've ever watched Flash Gordon with Sam Jones and I forget some of the names of the other actors, but it's he's like it's talking about him taking the ship in all by himself and everybody leave, and it's like one life is I mean, basically one life against billions or whatever. It's not even a question. So it kind of flips that a little bit on its head and turns it to 11. Is it better to kill, in this case, what, 3,000 at
right.
the twins versus the 10 to 20,000? And that's not the reason Tywin did it. But
no. I mean, no, he's just trying to justify himself, and he's not even doing it he's not even doing it honestly, right? He's pretending like he only killed a dozen at dinner, which is ridiculous. But anyway, so and our point is, it's basically self-defense for Jaime to be stabbing the Mad King in the back, and he's clearly saving lots of lives in the moment. And so people tend to agree that if someone is about to kill a bunch of people, that killing them is a just thing to do.
And there are those that use that same argument, and we've talked about it Monday with even Ned and Catelyn thinking the same thing. Him trying to kill and throw Bran out the window. One child versus his 3 children, his sister, his life, his father, his entire family. I mean, the amount of bloodshed on that probably wouldn't equal what they're going through now in the story, but it still would have been like way up there.
Anyway, and I used to say that D&D did it. Mother Run, part of why she remembers when it was, I think, is because she had to leave the live stream to drop her grandson off at preschool. And Pod says Max and Sato, what his name was Ming the Merciless. Oh, yeah, okay. I forgotten that, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, I know we talk about casting for a Game of Thrones, but his casting is Ming. I remember Flash Gordon in the Sunday papers. I remember there was even a Flash Gordon cartoon that came on Saturday mornings. I don't think it had maybe 1 or 2 seasons, if that, if memory serves. But the way I picture Ming, I mean, he looks just like he came out of the comic strip. So I mean, they did a really good job. Sam Jones, even though he didn't reach the height of his career after Flash Gordon, and it's his claim to fame. I mean, he was pretty good, Flash Gordon. I'm not gonna lie. But
Yeah, it's because too. Yep. And obviously we think of him as in Game of Thrones. I've always thought I don't know how many times I've seen Strange Brew, but I've seen Strange Brew a lot.
Seen what?
Strange Brew, the Bob and Doug McKenzie movie.
Oh yeah.
Great White North.
Yep.
Yeah, how's it going, eh?
Hoser.
Welcome to our movie, eh?
you hoser.
All right. Anyway, they supped alone as they did so often. The peas are overcooked, his wife ventured once. No matter, he said. So is the mutton. It was a jest, but Sansa took it for criticism. I'm sorry, my lord. Why? Some cook should be sorry, not you. Peas are not your province, said Sansa. I'm sorry that my lord husband is displeased. Any displeasure I'm feeling has naught to do with peas. I have Joffrey and my sister to displease me, and my lord father and 300 bloody Dornishmen. He had settled Prince Oberyn and his lords in a corner fort facing the city as far from the Tyrells as he could put them without evicting them from the Red Keep entirely. It was not nearly far enough. Already there had been a brawl in the Flea-Bottom pot shop that left one Tyrell man-at-arms dead and two of Lord Gargoyle's scalded, and an ugly confrontation in the yard where Mace Tyrell's wizened little mother called Valyria Sand the Serpent's Four. Every time we chanced to see Oberyn Martell, the prince asked when the justice would be served. Overcooked peas were the least of Tyrion's troubles. It's not no point in burdening his young wife with any of that. Sansa had enough grease of her own. We actually do see Lord Gargoyle again in Dorne later. The peas suffice, he told her curtly. They are green and round. What more can one expect of peas? Here, I'll have another serving if it please my lady. He beckoned and Podrick Payne spooned so many peas on his plate that Tyrion lost sight of his mutton. That was stupid, he told himself. I'll have to eat them all, or she'll be sorry all over again. Supper ended in a strained silence, as so many of their suppers did. Afterward, as Pod was removing the cups and platters, Sansa asked Tyrion for leave to visit the godswoman. As you wish. He'd become accustomed to his wife's nightly devotions. She prayed at the royal sept as well, and often lit candles to Mother, Maid, and Crone. Tyrion found all this piety excessive, truth be told, but in her place he might want the help of the gods as well. I confess, I know little of the old gods, he said, trying to be pleasant. Perhaps someday you might enlighten me. I could even accompany you. No, Sansa said at once. You're kind to offer, but there are no devotions, my lord. No priests or songs or candles. Only trees and silent prayer. You would be bored. No doubt you're right. She knows me better than I thought. She knows she doesn't want you discovering Dantos.
Exactly.
Though the sound of rustling leaves might be a pleasant change from some sept and droning on about the 7 aspects of grace. Tyrion waved her off. I won't intrude. Dress warmly, my lady. The wind is brisk out there. He was tempted to ask what she prayed for, but Sansa was so dutiful she might actually tell him, and he didn't think he wanted to know. He went back to work after she left, trying to track some golden dragons through the labyrinth of Littlefinger's ledgers. Peter Baelish had not believed in letting gold sit about and grow dusty, that was for certain. The more Tyrion tried to make sense of his accounts, the more his head hurt. It was all very well to talk of breeding dragons instead of locking them up in the treasury, but some of these ventures smelled worse than weak old fish. Who would have been so quick to let Joffrey fling the antler men over the walls by knowing how many of the bloody bastards had taken loans for the crown? He would have to send Bronn to find their heirs, but he feared that would prove as fruitful as trying to squeeze silver from a silverfish.
Now, do you think that after they got flung, then magically they had loans?
It's possible that he may have changed the records at that point, right? When you're embezzling a fortune, it's wise to blame it on the dead men.
There you go.
When the summons from his lord father arrived, it was the first time Tyrion could ever recall being pleased to see Sir Boros Blunt. He closed the ledgers gratefully, blew out the oil lamp, tied a cloak around his shoulders, and waddled across the castle to the Tower of the Hand. The wind was brisk, just as he'd warned Sansa, and there was a smell of rain in the air. Perhaps when Lord Tywin was done with him, he should go to the godswoman and fetch her home before she got soaked. So that's interesting because it's kind of hinting that he still might catch them. He doesn't, but it's still kind of hinting that he might. But all that went straight out of his head when he entered the Hand Solar to find Cersei, Sir Kevin, and Grand Maester Pycelle gathered about Lord Tywin and the king. Joffrey was almost bouncing. Cersei was savoring a smug little smile, though Lord Tywin looked as grim as ever. I wonder if he could smile even if he wanted to. All his smiles belonged to a silent sister in King's Landing that used to be his wife.
There you go.
Hat tip to Joanna Lister is Alive by Reddit user the Sully, aka Gods of Terror on Tumblr, aka at Loki_Ragnaroki on Twitter. What's happened? Tyrion asked. His father offered him a roll of parchment. Someone had flattened it, but it still wanted to curl. Rosalind caught a fine, fat trout, the message read. Her brothers gave her a pair of wolf pelts for her wedding. Tyrion turned it over and inspected the seal. The wax was silver gray, and pressed into it were the twin towers of House Frey. Sorry, silvery gray. Does the Lord of the Crossing imagine he's being poetic? Just meant to confound us? Tyrion snorted. The trout would be Edmund Tully, the pelts. He's dead! Joffrey sounded so proud and happy he might have thought he could Robb Stark himself. First Greyjoy and now Stark. Tyrion thought of his child wife praying to the gods, but even now, praying to her father's gods to bring her brother victory and keep her mother safe, no doubt. The old gods paid no more heed to prayer than the new ones, it would seem. Perhaps you should take comfort in that. Kings are falling like leaves this autumn, he said. It would seem our little war is winning itself. Wars do not win themselves, Tyrion, Cersei said with poisonous sweetness. Our Lord Father won this war. Nothing is won so long as we have enemies in the field, Lord Tywin warned them. The river lords are no fools, the queen argued. The Northmen, they cannot hope to stand against the combined power of Highgarden, Castle Rock, and Dorne. Surely they will choose submission rather than destruction. Boast, agreed Lord Tywin. Riverrun remains, but so long as Walder Frey holds Edmund Tully hostage, the Blackfish dare not mount a threat. Jason Mallister and Titus Blackwood will fight on for honor's sake. But the Freys can keep the Mallisters penned up at Seaguard. And with the right inducement, Jonas Bracken can be persuaded to change his allegiance and attack the Blackwoods. In the end, they will bend the knee. Yes, I mean offer generous terms. Any castle that yields to us will be spared, save one. Harrenhal? Said Tyrion. To his sire. The realm is best rid of these brave companions. I have commanded Sir Gregor to put the castle to the sword. Who brought these brave companions to the realm again?
I wonder if that's like a thorn in his claw, in his side.
Of course,
Almost a thorn in his claw.
Yep.
Every time that they're mentioned.
Yep. And it's I do think it's funny that he convinced that some of the Dothraki to ride across the poison waters.
Yeah.
Gregor Clegane. It appeared as if his Lord Father meant to mine the mountain for every last nugget of ore before turning him over to Dornish justice. The brave companions would end his heads on spikes, and Littlefinger would stroll into Harrenhal without so much as a spot of blood on those fine clothes of his. He wondered if Peter Baelish had reached the Vale yet. If the gods are good, he ran into the storm at sea and sank. But when had the gods ever been especially good? Peter is always slow to leave King's Landing for these arranged marriages. They should all be put to the sword, Joffrey declared suddenly. The Mallisters and Blackwoods and Brackens, all of them. They're traitors. I want them killed, Grandfather. I won't have any generous terms. The king turned to Grand Maester Pycelle. And I want Robb Stark's head, too. Write to Lord Frey and tell him. The king commands. I'm going to have it served to Sansa at my wedding feast. Sire, Sir Kevin said in a shocked voice, the lady is now your aunt by marriage. A jest, Cersei smiled. Joff did not mean it. Yes, I did, Joffrey insisted. He was a traitor, and I want his stupid head. I'm going to make Sansa kiss it. No, Tyrion's voice was hoarse. Sansa is no longer yours to torment. Understand that, monster. Joffrey sneered. You're the monster, uncle. Am I? Tyrion cocked his head. Perhaps you should speak more softly to me then. Monsters are dangerous beasts. Just now kings seem to be dying like flies. Dany is accused of being mad and responds the exact same way. Jaime is a villain who decides the rest of his mostly blank page could be the story of a hero. Tyrion is a mostly sympathetic character who wishes he were the monster. We really have quoted a disturbingly large number of clues that Dany may go mad in the future in books as well.
Does he have enough time to actually not pull a D&D and actually play that out to where it's not just like people are reading and going, oh shit, where'd that come from?
Maybe. I mean, he could. I don't know.
Well,
and
I mean,
he may have changed his mind too, because just based on what he said about how he finds himself going further away from where the show went.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd said that after season 7 and 8 that with certain things told to them by George and the fan reaction, even though I think at the time or before that, he said he wouldn't change anything because of fans' reactions or whatever. I suspect that he did go back and change probably quite a bit.
I could have your tongue out for saying that, the boy king said, reddening. I'm the king. Cersei put a protective hand on her son's shoulder. Let the dwarf make all the threats he likes, Joff. I want my lord father and my uncle to see what he is. Lord Tywin ignored that. It was Joffrey he addressed. Wait, he can always add a new book, a Time for Wolves. Yep.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I've always thought that may still be on the table. It was Joffrey he addressed. Aerys also felt the need to remind men that he was king. He was passing fond of ripping tongues out as well. You could ask Sir Ilyn Payne about that, though you'd get no reply. Sir Ilyn never dared provoke Aerys the way your imp provokes Joff, said Cersei. You heard him. Monster, he said, to the king's grace, and he threatened him. Be quiet, Cersei. Joffrey, when your enemies defy you, you must serve them steel and fire. If they go to their knees, however, you must help them back to their feet. Elsewise, no man will ever bend the knee to you. And any man who must say, I am the king, is no true king at all. Aerys never understood that, but you will. When I've won your war for you, you will restore the king's peace and the king's justice. The only head that need concern you is Margaret Tyrell's maidenhead. Joffrey had that. It doesn't take time. George can make her snap when Sandy gets her head cut off by the mouth. Okay. Joffrey had that sullen, sulky look he got. Cersei had him firmly by the shoulder, but perhaps she should have had him by the throat. The boy surprised them all. Instead of scuttling safely back under his rock, Joff drew himself up defiantly and said, You talk about Aerys, grandfather, but you were scared of him. Oh my, hasn't this gotten interesting, Tyrion thought. Lord Tywin studied his grandchild in silence, gold flecks shining in his pale green eyes. Joffrey, apologize to your grandfather, said Cersei. He wrenched Beaver. Why should I? Everyone knows it's true. My father won all the battles. He killed Prince Rhaegar and took the crown, while your father was hiding under Castle Rock. What gave his grandfather a defiant look. A strong king acts boldly. He doesn't just talk. Thank you for that wisdom, your grace, Lord Tywin said with courtesy so bold as like to freeze their ears off. Sir Kevin, I can see the king is tired. Please see him safely back to his bedchamber. Pycelle, perhaps some gentle potion to help his grace sleep restfully? Dream wine, my lord? I don't want any dream wine, Joffrey insisted. Lord Tywin would have paid more heed to a mouse in the corner. Dream wine will serve. Cersei, Tyrion, remain. Sir Kevin.
Hey, I wonder why, and it's probably just for the story's sake, but we see Sweet Robin being poisoned slowly. Why didn't they use some type of poison or whatever to kind of wrangle in Joffrey?
Yeah, mellow him out a little, yeah.
Yeah.
Keep stoned the whole time. Sir Kevin took Joffrey firmly by the arm and marched. Pod says that this was the best scene in the show. Charles Dance was awesome.
Yeah, Charles Dance was awesome throughout the entire show.
Sir Kevin took Joffrey firmly by the arm and marched him out the door, where two of the Kingsguard were waiting. Grandmaster Pycelle scurried after him as fast as his shaky old legs could take him. Tyrion remained where he was. Father, I'm sorry, Cersei said with the door shut. Stuff has always been willful. I did warn you. There is a long league's worth of difference between willful and stupid. A strong king acts boldly? Who told him that? Not me, I promise you, said Cersei. Most likely it was something he heard Robert say. That part about you hiding under Castle Rock does sound like Robert. Tyrion didn't want Lord Tywin forgetting that bit. Yes, I recall now, Cersei said. Robert often told Joff that a king must be bold. And what were you telling him, pray? I did not fight a war to seat Robert II on the Iron Throne. You gave me to understand the boy cared nothing for his father. There's a certain irony there that he's saying that he didn't want him to be Robert's son, essentially.
Basically.
Why would he? Robert ignored him. He would have beat him if I'd allowed it. That brute he made me marry once hit the boy so hard he knocked out two of his baby teeth over some mischief with a cat. I told him I'd kill him in his sleep if he ever did it again, and he never did. Sometimes he would say things. It appears things needed to be said. Lord Tywin waved 2 fingers at her, brusque dismissal. Go. She went, seething. Not Robert II, Tyrion said. Aerys III. See Triple Targaryens, episode 5.
Yep. I knew that was coming.
Yeah, of course. The boy's 13. There is time yet. Lord Tywin paced to the window. That was unlike him. He was more upset than he wished to show. It requires a sharp lesson. Tyrion had gotten his own sharp lesson at 13. He felt almost sorry for his nephew. On the other hand, no one deserved it more. This is interesting because we never hear about him actually delivering a sharp lesson, do we? Enough of Joffrey, he said. Wars are won with quills and ravens. I'm sorry, that's backwards. It should be Tyrion. Enough of Joffrey, he said. Wars are won with quills and ravens. Wasn't that what you said? I must congratulate you. How long have you and Walter Frey been plotting this? I mislike that word, Lord Tywin said stiffly. And I mislike being left in the dark. There was no reason to tell you. You had no part in this. Was Cersei told? Tyrion demanded to know. No one was told, save those who had a part to play. And they were only told as much as they needed to know. You ought to know that there is no other way to keep a secret, here especially. My object was to rid us of a dangerous enemy as cheaply as I could, not to indulge your curiosity or make your sister feel important. He closed the shutters, frowned. You have a certain cunning, Tyrion, but the plain truth is you talk too much. That loose tongue of yours will be your undoing. Man, we got so much of that, references to people cutting out his tongue and all over the place.
Yeah. I hope it doesn't happen, but chances are by the time it does, Tyrion's going to be so far down the
in fact, we're not even done here, right? You should have let Joff tear it out, suggested Tyrion. So, the quiet line theory, it just has so much technical support, but it really does seem impractical.
Yeah. Which, when that happens, then all we're going to get from him is going to be an interior monologue, if we get any more point of view chapters from him.
Yeah. You would do well not to tempt me, Lord Tywin said. I'll hear no more of this. I've been considering how best to appease Oberyn Martell and his entourage. Oh, is this something I'm allowed to know, or should I leave so you can discuss it with yourself? His father ignored the sally. Prince Oberyn's presence here is unfortunate. His brother is a cautious man, a reasoned man, subtle, deliberate, even indolent to a degree. He's a man who weighs the consequences of every word and every action, but Oberyn has always been half mad. So the history talks of the Mad King laying pipe and door near Oberyn's conception, and Toodles thinks the half-mad term adds to the history's implication here.
Okay.
Is it true he tried to raise Dorne from Viserys? No one speaks of it, but yes. Ravens flew and riders rode, with what secret messages I never knew. John Arryn sailed the Sunspirit to return Prince Lewin's bones, sat down with Prince Doran, and ended all the talk of war. But Robert never went to Dorne thereafter, and Prince Oberyn seldom left it. Prince Lewin's bones were no more real than Jaime's promised bones to his aunt, Tywin's promised skull to Doran, or possibly Quentin's bones. See Triple Targaryens episode 6 and Preston's Quentin is Alive video.
Yeah. Well, I think it's something that he's repeated throughout the story, so I have no doubt.
Bran's bones, Rickon's bones, yeah. Davos's head is the most obvious one.
Yeah.
Well, he's here now with half the nobility. Oh, wait, no, that's Tyrion, sorry. Well, he's here now with half the nobility of Dorne in his tail, and he grows more impatient every day, said Tyrion. Perhaps I should show him the brothels of King's Landing. That might distract him. A tool for every task. Isn't that how it works? My tool is yours, father. Never let it be said that House Lannister blew its trumpets, and I did not respond. Lord Tywin's mouth tightened. Very droll. Shall I have him sew you a suit of motley and a little hat with bells on it? If I wear it, do I have leave to say anything I want about his grace, King Joffrey? Lord Tywin seated himself again and said, I was made to suffer my father's follies. I will not suffer yours. Enough. Very well. As you ask so pleasantly. The Red Viper is not going to be pleasant, I fear. Nor will he content himself with Sir Gregor's head alone. All the more reason to give it to him. Not to. Tyrion was shocked. I thought we were agreed that the woods were full of beasts. Lesser beasts. Lord Tywin's fingers laced together under his chin. Sir Gregor has served us well. No other knight in the realm inspires such terror in our enemies. Oberyn knows that Gregor was the one who... He knows nothing. He's heard tales. Stable gossip. Kitchen calumnies. He has no proof. Sir Gregor is certainly not about to confess to him. Oh, really? I mean to keep him well away for so long as the doors of King's Landing. Sounds like a splendid plan. What could possibly go wrong?
Exactly.
And when Oberyn demands the justice he's come for, I will tell him that Sir Aubrey Lorsch killed Elia and her children, Tywin said calmly. So will you if he asks. Sir Emery Lorch is dead, Tyrion said flatly. Precisely. Vargo Hoates had Sir Emery torn apart by a bear after the fall of Harrenhal. That ought to be sufficiently grisly to appease even Oberyn Martell. You may call that justice. It is justice. It was Sir Emery who brought me the girl's body, if you must know. He found her hiding under her father's bed as if she believed Rhaegar could still protect her. Princess Elia and the babe were in the nursery a floor below. Well, it's a tale, and Sir Emery's not like to deny it. What will you tell Oberyn when he asks who gave Lorch his orders? Sir Emery acted on his own with the hope of winning favor from the new king. Robert's hatred for Rhaegar was scarcely a secret. It might serve, Tyrion had to concede. The snake will not be happy. Far be it from me to question your cunning, father, but in your place, I do believe I'd let Robert Baratheon bloody his own hands. Lord Tywin stared at him as if he'd lost his wits. You deserve that, Motley, then. We'd come late to Robert's cause. It was necessary to demonstrate our loyalty. When I laid those bodies before the throne, no man could doubt that we had forsaken House Targaryen forever. And Robert's relief was palpable. Stupid as he was, even he knew that Rhaegar's children had to die if his throne was ever to be secure. But he saw himself as a hero. Heroes do not kill children. His father shrugged. I grant you it was done too brutally. Elia need not have been harmed at all. That was sheer folly. By herself, she was nothing. So one of the things about this is kind of funny is that he lumps Tyrion in, saying that we had forsaken House Targaryen forever. Like no one could ever doubt it. Yet we know Tyrion's likely to be serving House Targaryen.
Yeah.
Then why did the Mountain kill her? Because I did not tell him to spare her. I doubt I mentioned her at all. Oberyn is skeptical, and I share his skepticism. I had more pressing concerns. Ned Stark's band was rushing south from the Trident, and I feared it might come to swords between us. And it was in Aerys to murder Jaime with no more cause than spite. That was the thing I feared most. That and what Jaime himself might do. Closed the fist. Nor did I yet grasp what I had in Gregor Clegane, only that he was huge and terrible in battle. The rape? Even you will not accuse me of giving that command, I would hope. Yes, what evidence could Tyrion possibly have of you ordering rape? You would never do such a thing, right, Tysha?
Yeah.
Sir Amory was almost as bestial with Rhaenys. I asked him afterward why it had required 100 thrusts to kill a girl of 2, 3. He said she'd kicked him and would not stop screaming. Lord had half the wits the gods gave a turnip. He would have calmed her with a few sweet words and used a soft silk pillow. His mouth twisted in his face. The blood was in him. So, of course, the soft silk pillow is a reference to Othello and Dany. But not in you, Father. There is no blood in Tywin Lannister. Was a soft silk pillow that slew Robb Stark? It was to be an arrow at Edmund Tully's wedding feast. The boy was too wary in the field, kept his men in good order, and surrounded himself with outriders and bodyguards. So Lord Walder slew him under his own roof at his own table? Tyrion made a fist. What of Lady Catelyn? Slain as well, I'd say, a pair of wolf skins. Frey had intended to keep her captive. Perhaps something went awry. So much for guest right. Blood is up Walder Frey's hands, not mine. Walder Frey is a peevish old man who lives to fondle his young wife and brood over all the slights he suffered. I have no doubt he hatched this ugly chicken, but he would never have dared such a thing without a promise of protection. I suppose you would have spared the boy and told Lord Frey you had no need of his allegiance? That would have driven the old fool right back into Stark's arms and won you another year of war. Explain to me why it is more noble to kill 10,000 men in battle than a dozen at dinner. But Tyrion had no reply to that. His father continued. The price was cheap by any measure. The crown shall grant Riverrun to Sir Edmund Frey once the Blackfish yields. Lancelot and Davin must marry Frey girls. Joy is to wed one of Lord Walder's natural sons when she's old enough, and Roose Bolton becomes Warden of the North and takes home Arya Stark. Joy was also promised to Sybil Westerly. I guess double dealers should expect backstabbing. Arya Stark, Tyrion cocked his head, and Bolton might have known Frey would not have stomach attacked alone, but Arya, Varys and Sir Jocelyn searched for her for more than half a year. Arya Stark is surely dead. So was Renly until the Blackwater. What does that mean? It's rather self-explanatory to me. Someone could pretend to be the dead.
Yeah.
Perhaps Littlefinger succeeded when you and Varys failed. Lord Bolton will wed the girl to his bastard son. We shall allow the Dreadfort to fight the Ironborn for a few years and see if he can bring Stark's other bannermen to heel. Come spring, all of them should be at the end of their strength and ready to bend the knee. North will go to your son by Sansa Stark. If you ever find enough manhood in you to breed one, lest you forget it is not only Joffrey who must needs take a maidenhead. I had not forgotten, though I'd hoped you had. When do you imagine Sansa will be at her most fertile. Tyrion asks his father in tones that dripped acid. Before or after I tell her how we murdered her mother and her brother. Up next, Storm 54, Davos 5. Give me another letter. There's something I wanted to say about that. What was that? It is interesting that he's also double dealing with Bolton too, right? Because Bolton thinks he's taking Winterfell, but he's planning on giving Winterfell to Tyrion.
Well, I think double dealing is just Tywin's nature. I mean, that's the easiest way to get certain people to fall in line, knowing that you're going to double deal them, and there's nothing they can do about it.
As he's lying to his face, telling him, "Oh, I didn't give many orders on Elliot," I'm like, "Yeah, right. Surely even you would think that I would order rape."
Yeah. Well,
here's
the thing.
Oh, you froze.
Did he say that knowing that Tyrion? Was that a slighted comment, meaning that you know that I did because you've seen me do it type thing?
I don't know. It's
hard to
Tyrion to catch that he was lying or not, but he's so duplicitous all over this chapter. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
He's like almost everything he's talking about's a lie.
Well, I mean, there's a sentence. You can have a sentence in a book that could be read two different ways.
Sure.
Meaning he said it basically kind of out of the corner of his mouth, kind of side-eyed a little bit.
But it's amazing here. Like, I promised Winterfell to Bolton. I promised joy to two different people. I'm giving Winterfell to your son. I mean, he's it's so full of him being full of crap.
Yeah. If he was a card dealer in Vegas, I would not sit at his table.
I think that's part of what George is doing there. He's given us so many hints that Tywin's lying everywhere else that we're supposed to realize he's lying about Elliot.
Yeah, he's lying about everything.
Yeah, I think that's what he's doing there. He's piling on lie after lie after lie and contradiction after contradiction. So we'll realize, no, he's not actually being honest here.
Right. Well, I mean, as much of how he likes to send messages, I think that I wouldn't put it behind him. I mean, that's a powerful message.
Can we totally spoil Wind's Winter now?
What's that?
Can I totally spoil Wind's Winter now?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to completely spoil major things here for Wind's Winter. So anybody who doesn't want to be completely spoiled for Wind's Winter should one from the sample chapter and one from George in an interview, just completely giving away like a huge plot.
Okay, give enough time. All right,
yeah,
if you do not want to hear a spoiler, from
like, both from the sample chapters and from George giving in an interview, that just is completely like, how the hell can you answer that question, George? What are you doing? Kind of spoiler. Like, so the first one is I love the fact that in the sample chapters, is it Umber? I think it's Umber. Anyway, they're quizzing Arya Stark, and the quiz is specifically about the two names that Osha would be most likely to remember. So strongly implying that they've been talking to Osha.
Hey,
Homie rotten, some fellas. And spoil, yes, we got it. And so that strongly implies that Rickon's already back.
Talk about a sentence being read the wrong way. Soil me rotten. Anyway. I'm not judging, man. I'm not judging.
It's Pride Month, isn't it? All right. Anyway, so that strongly implies that as for the spoiler chapters, that Osha is already back, and then as of the chapters that George has already teased and released. So
Okay,
that's
now Osha's back. Does that mean Rickon's back and Davos is back?
I think it does. I think that they have all of them. Yes.
Which, when you're done, I have something to say about Davos that I thought about in the car ride to take my daughter to. I know it's not supposed to be daydreaming when I drive, but she's volunteering at an animal shelter. So, but it popped in my head when I was driving. But just remind me to say something about Davos when you're done.
Okay. And then
Good.
The fact that I mentioned Taisha there reminds me of George giving that ridiculous answer to the question, right? Which was, will we ever find out where whores go? And he says, yes, we will. And I'm like, what? How can you give such a straight answer to that question? Anyway, but another thing that came up that's interesting is that one of the recent Reddit posts I was reading, I want to say it was like Chris24 or something. It's the name of the user. Anyway, he was saying that in Verimer's chapter, this is totally off topic, just something that I saw recently I thought was interesting, I thought you'd like. In Verimer's chapter, he tells us he's going to have a dozen deaths, and he gives us number 9, okay, and 10. He lists a bunch of them, right? But he doesn't list a dozen. And then he says this one was number 9, and then this one was number 10. Then he has his true death that results in his second life, which would be number 11. So George has us tell us he's basically foreshadowing that One Eye is going to die. So he's basically strongly implying that One Eye is going to die in Windsor Dream.
Probably wins.
Right, which probably implies that it might imply that Summer dies, right? Because at least the wolf pack is getting. Everyone says yes. Yeah, so it probably is implying that it might be implying that Summer dies, or that Summer barely survives. The wolf pack is attacked.
Okay, now there's Summer's pack now.
Yeah,
they do what he says. Summer protects Bran. And if the Mark and them coming into the cave,
I always wrote off Summer's death in the show as them wanting to save on the direwolf stuff, but maybe not.
Right. Well, I mean, even if Summer lives, I mean, you still got 3 of the wolves there, and One Eye's not a joke. I mean, he's a wolf, not a dire wolf, but he's still a wolf. Wolf. Yeah, that I just realized what I said. Wolf. But I mean, yeah. I mean, I could see him dying when they storm the cave for sure. And he might die side by side with Summer. I mean, now if Summer dies, and it's been hinted that when Lady died, part of her goes into Sansa. With this connection between Summer and Bran, is it possible that Summer goes into Bran?
Maybe, and maybe that actually makes these people stronger when these things happen.
Okay, which might be the reason that Jon comes back stronger than he was when he died, instead of coming back and being slightly less like the normal Fire White.
Are you thinking they're going to kill Ghost to get him back in?
It's possible. I don't want him to.
Bran and Jon going through their transitions in their wolves will be part of it. Yeah, it sure seems like it. Certainly, David Lightbringer's been making that argument. I mean,
I know with Vera Sixskins, we're told that once you go into like your eagle, then you just start getting pushed further back and further. You lose yourself every day type thing. But with the bond as strong as the wargs, not just a skin changer, but their bond, their marriage to the wolf is so complete and so equal, then what if they don't lose any? I mean,
Yeah,
the animal that you go into isn't trying to force you out.
well, that's sort of what David Lightberger said is that Ghost will live on in John, and the two of them will be blended. He'll be more wolfish and so forth. And so maybe the same
Right.
thing with Bran. So they're both kind of. I mean, the point is that I've argued that Bran represents the God the Father and wetting the tree, and that which by the way has lots of mother symbolism. The tree does around Bran Bloodraven, and then and so maybe they're both, because they are both becoming aspects of God essentially, right? Then maybe that is the case.
Well, I mean, the reason I say that is because, like I've told you before, I don't trust the rules that Variable Sixskin gives us because of who they're coming from.
Sure.
And you're looking at a skin changer that is forcing his way into these animals. The bear and the shadow cat takes more of his energy because they're constantly fighting him. These animals don't want him in there. Not even I don't know about the regular wolves, because I mean it doesn't seem like he has a hard time going into One Eye. The wolves probably are different, and the dire wolves being even more magical and as strong as the Stark children are as far as warging goes. Yeah, I don't see. I mean, I don't see Ghost trying to push out John. I think.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
one problem I have with it is that I feel like Ghost is supposed to be the the third aspect. If he's named as if he's going to be the third aspect, right? So it's a little weird to have him merge with Jesus symbolism, right? But on the other hand, there is a lot of that Holy Spirit symbolism specifically around Jesus as he's resurrected. So maybe it does make sense for the two to blend. That card says a nice way of implying that Bran is no longer a Stark. Maybe something more like in the show. Maybe Bloodraven takes his body.
I fully believe that Bloodraven is going to steal Bran's body.
And James says wolves being in them would be really cool, must say.
Yeah. Now here's the thing: if Bloodraven steals Bran's body, like I think, I know they don't have a whole lot for it other than all the shit that Bloodraven did to protect the realm when he was just Bloodraven, the hand, whatever. What he was willing to do, sacrificing his honor. I don't think that he would trust a 8-year-old boy for the battle for the Battle of the Dawn. So I think he's going to steal his body. But if he steals his body, and Hodor no longer fights when Bran comes into Hodor, because it'd be like a double body stealing, Bloodraven stealing Bran's body, and then Bran stealing Hodor's body. And with Hodor no longer fighting, Bran just basically curling up into a ball in the corner of his mind, could Bran then just, like I've called super green seers, that just kind of leapfrog through time, going from one green seer to another green seer, or to at least a skin changer type thing, because we're told that the power doesn't transfer with you. But like I said, I don't trust what we're told on that. I think that just like there are wargs, then you have skin changers, and then you have green seers. I think there's another level above that. And the reason I think that is when George was asked about the Night's King, was he still alive? And instead of saying no, just like George, he says that he would have just as much chance of being alive as Bran the Builder, or Lamb the Clever, or Lamb the Clever. So that, instead of saying no, that tells me that chances are all three of those people are still alive in the story that we're reading. And the easiest way for my mind to come up with how they're still in the story, they're either bolt on, like Roose, which I doubt, or that they have leapt body to body to body And the second they find their next body, just like the three-eyed crow and all those bodies at the bottom of that fall that failed, the second that they get into their new body, which is either green seer or a skin changer, because they need to be able to go into another human, they start looking for that next life. So they're having their second, their third, their fourth, their fifth, their sixth. I mean, just on and on and on. And they're so powerful at what they do and who they are. Their mind doesn't get pushed out. They push out the person that they jump into. The person that they jump into gets pushed out a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit by a little bit. Like,
Yeah, I'm talking with Martin on this, right? I think if anything, it's exactly the other way around. It's Bran is incredibly powerful, and Bloodraven is wimpy, in my opinion. But Edward Martin says, reason why I believe Bran will stay in his body later in story, at critical moment, Bran's spirit will be needed. Right? We've already seen him doing things that seem like they're way powerful, more than he could be at that moment when he goes back and visits Jon, for example, and awakens Jon's gift. Like,
well, I mean,
the implication to me is that Bran is the one that's super, super strong. That Bloodraven,
right? I agree. Bran is strong, but Bran is
Bloodraven is John the Baptist. To me, he's John the Baptist. He's misdirect. He's somebody everybody thinks is the Messiah, and he's not.
Well, I mean, that like I said, I got very little other than that one sentence and answer from George is the reason that I think the way I do.
Well, I mean, and it arguably goes with what David Lightbringer's been saying too, right? Is he's been claiming, there's somebody that there's at least one person from the original that's like trapped in the Weirdwood net, and that they're going to get released out because, based on the fact that he claims this is memory, sorrow, and thorn is inspired largely, right? George has said. And so there's a few things that ought to happen in the story if that's true. One, Arthur Dayne should be alive because that's definitely something that happens in Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. This is this legendary great knight, and it turns out he's still in the story and alive. And two is that this idea that Azor Ahai is actually the bad guy stuck in the Weirdwood web, basically, right? That's right. I like to say Worldwide Weirdwood Web because I like to put www. But anyway,
click.
But one of the things is that to me that I like about Ghost merging with Jon, and maybe some are merging with Bran as well, is that to me reminds me more of what happens in the Book of the New Sun, because which, by the way, that is sort of what happens when I would argue that that's where Severian becomes an interesting character, is when he engages in a cannibalistic ritual eating somebody he loves. Sounds vaguely familiar. And kind of gains a power there. He merges with that person, right? So the woman he loves is Thekla, and he merges with Thekla, and so if that's really when he becomes powerful, then would it make sense that George is going to do something similar with Bran and or Jon, and have them merge with their wolf, somebody that they love, that they wind up absorbing that strength and mind and memories and so forth.
Well, I get back to how powerful Bran is. If Bran is slipped into Hodor, which is a place that he likes because he can walk and he's strong and all that kind of stuff, then he's left his body, then Bloodraven could go into Bran. I know I'm grasping for straws here. I don't know.
Well, no, you can interpret it however you want. It's just we're just guessing. We don't know. I'm saying based on how the symbolism works and what I think he's working off of, that my interpretation is that what's going to happen is that it's going to turn out that Bloodraven was nothing more than John the Baptist, and that Bran was the one who was doing everything, not Bloodraven.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how do I put this? I'm not so much into symbolism as the next fella. I'm more into the words on the page and how my brain interprets them.
Sure. Well, dude, I like your theory, but you could be right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that it's a different interpretation of what's here and speculating what will happen. And I don't say that. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that's not my preferred interpretation, but yeah, it could happen.
No, you're wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's ambiguous. There's more than one correct interpretation. Stop saying that if George confirms something, that means it's the only thing that's good. The only way to interpret the books, and that's the one and only right answer, right? That's what we say, right?
James, I appreciate that, and I guarantee you, most of my theories, if anybody's watched the original videos, theory videos, I'm probably wrong on every damn one of them except for one. Who's Torben?
Torben. I'm not totally sold on it. I'd like to see more evidence, but only George truly knows. Absolutely.
Look, here's the thing. If George had put as much evidence into who Tormund is, because it can't be, I mean, it couldn't be interpreted. I mean, if you look at the evidence for Mance Rayder, okay, you got evidence that screams
there's something going on there, and I don't know what it is. And you've got more. I think you've got more to work with than most people's theories. And so I'm not saying you're wrong at all.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying
plant some more seeds before any such reveal, right? I'd like to see him. Remember, he loves to troll. Yeah, and and even he doesn't know, because he's a gardener who plants seeds in different directions and sees what he can grow from there, right? So he doesn't actually know what his end product looks like necessarily. He's got his. I mean, he does have some idea of where he's going and what the symbolism is and how he wants that to develop and all that. But
if he's already made up his mind that the half-hand was Sir Gerald Hightower.
Definitely, we definitely think Quentin could be alive, Pod.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't ruled it out, so yeah.
Oh, I mean, I don't.
I'm 60-40.
I don't expect him to be because I think George needs to pull the weeds winner, and it simplifies the story if he's not. But I totally understand Preston's take that it's ambiguous and that there's more than one interpretation there. I think that.
I'm 60-40 on it, so I mean.
For May, yes. Yeah. The question of May you still be alive? Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, if we don't have Quentin talking about the fireball coming to him, his eyes bursting and falling backwards, all on fire, his flesh just fluffing off with the smoke, and he takes his last breath or whatever.
I mean, the pattern too, right? You've got so you have Lewin Martell, who we definitely don't think is dead.
No.
and we right, and his bones went to Dorne to prove he was dead. Then you've got the person who killed Elia's skull, who we don't think is dead, and his skull is going to Dorne to prove that he's dead, right? And so having a Dornish prince with bones of questionable veracity being sent to Dorne to prove that he's dead sure feels like it fits a pattern.
See, now I'm waiting for somebody to go, oh, wait, this can't be his bones. He had a broken leg when he was 7. This bone has never been broken type thing. I mean,
that actually did happen already. That happened with Maester Lewin. He realized that Bran's bones were not were not properly broken. He actually had already, he specifically said, I knew that wasn't right, that that wasn't the bones that had been destroyed by the fall from the tower. Like he actually sees them. He says, I knew it. He said, like, I knew it.
The show gave it away with the way he looked at the bodies, but we don't get that in the books.
No, he does. He specifically tells Bran, I knew.
No, I'm talking about with him walking up to the bodies that are hanging.
That part doesn't happen.
Looking at them, and then he gets that look on his face like he can smell a fart. Quoting Joey Tribbiani off Friends. So yeah, I mean, I forgot about that, but I'm waiting for you get the box of bones, like the Ned's bones and stuff like that, and they lay them out on the table, and then boom, I'm just picturing it bigger and grander than the Maester Lewin one. and for some reason. Okay, what are we at? 54?
The gods are good, I knew. He smiled. The gods are good, I knew. Knew, said Brent, certainly. The legs. I could tell. The close fits, the muscles in his legs. Poor lad. He coughed and blood came up from inside him. You vanished in the woods. How though? Yeah. So yeah, it specifically has already happened.
Yeah. You hush, Todd.
Great years dental records.
Oh, speaking of Davos, when John dies, I don't think we're going to get any more Melisandre chapters because the writing characters and not giving away too much information to the readers of things that we're not supposed to know.
No. She's there to be Mary Magdalene. She's even named kind of like Mary Magdalene.
Right. I'm talking about POVs though.
No, so we need to have a chapter of her discovering the empty tomb.
What, when his body's gone?
Yeah, his body needs to be stolen by the others, as David Lightbringer keeps saying, right? And I think he actually got that from like Radio Westeros or something. And then I think he gives them credit. But yeah, she's here to be the witness because that's the one thing that's in common in the four Gospels is it differs as to who's with her and stuff, but it's always Mary Magdalene discovering the empty tomb.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she can discover the empty. I just don't think George likes having to write chapters and be even more secretive.
I think he's even said there's at least one more Melisandre chapter. I'm pretty sure he said that in an interview.
Okay, well, she might find the empty chapter, but we still need a POV for John returning. And I don't think she's going to be the POV for it because there's going to be too much magical talk or whatever in her head.
Yeah.
So when you're saying that Osha's back, I'm thinking that Davos and Rickon have gone to the wall or are headed to the wall.
I'm sorry, I laugh at Lady Thistle here. Like the video where some blonde girl is going to come into your house, break your furniture, and eat your food. Goldilocks. That card says, I just prefer if he isn't dead. John, I mean. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's another thing is that, he does write deliberately ambiguous, and he practically begged the Order of the Green Hand to put out that video, right? That he's like, there should be people in the fandom that don't think that John is dead. That was his interpretation of his work, is that people should be.
Was it him or his wife that said, "Oh, so you think he's dead?"
Him, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like that video. I know, I haven't watched. I don't know if they've gotten anything new as far other than podcasts talking about stuff that they've already done. But I like that theory. The 60-40 I am on Quentin still being live. I'm probably 70-30 on John still being alive. Go ahead, read it there.
Edward Martin says, I believe Mel will be marked. Her POV title will be changed like Lady Stoneheart. Like Bran was on the show or not.
Okay. All right, we're almost at an hour, and I got both kids at the house.
Let's go wrap it up.
Okay. Davos on Monday. I've said it before. What do we say?
I don't care how, but there are too many zombies.
Exactly. Well, I mean, for John to have any kind of a future at all, if he doesn't just get killed off straight away or by the end of the book, for him to become the Lord of Winterfell, King in the North, or the King of Winter, I'll put it that way instead of King of the North, because I still think the old gods consider the Lord of Winterfell as the King of Winter, just because they bent the knee. The old gods didn't say, "Oh, okay, we just can't call him that no more." I still think the old gods and the powers that be still consider, at this point, John the King of Winter.
We need to wrap up, but Edward Martin had another comment there too. This is by the others when she's bringing John back.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. All right. Davos Monday. I've said it before. If you still want to watch some Davos, he is in the 3-body problem and I've watched it. I love it. I cannot wait for season 2.
It's really
and the last voyage of the Demeter. He's basically playing in Davos for the entire movie.
Thank you.
I appreciate James. I mean, Edward. I know you're off on Fridays. You work Monday through Thursday, 10 hours a day. We appreciate it. And everybody else that joins today, thank you. We will see y'all Monday. Y'all have a good weekend. Stay safe and take care.
All right.
Bye.